Whistle me up, home and holy. Whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle the tune that'll carry me to Prescott territory. Howdy, y'all. Howdy. And welcome to the praise class presentation of Prescott territory. I'm Prescott Pete. And this is my 6-shooter right here. This is an original by gunsmith Paul Root. This is the only one of its kind in the world, and I'm proud to have it. And I can run off 6 shots before you can sneeze out here. Yeah, I've been around these here parts a long time. Long time before Prescott was even called city. Well, heck. Back then, Prescott was just called Prescott territory. And this is my sidekick over here. This is Repeat. 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 Hey, Repeat, where are you?
I'm in the wagon.
You're where?
I'm in the wagon.
Well, what are you doing in the wagon?
Well, I was a-coming to the show, and I forgot my tobacco. So I came in the wagon to cut me a plug for a new chaw, and somebody come along and shut the tailgate behind me, and a plank fell on me, and I got stuck in here.
You got stuck inside?
I'm inside, stuck.
Oh, man. You know, you gotta get out of there. We got a show to do.
Well, if I straighten real hard and kick, I might can get out of here. Hang on. Oh, man, it was getting hot in there. Well, oh, man, you need a bath.
I do?
You need a bath bad. Let me tell you, I got a deal for you. For 3 cents, down at the boarding house, they give you a hot bath, and it's a first-class operation. I mean, they change the water after every four people, that is, with the exception, if that old fella, Murray Hardy, they change it right away.
Well, if Murray Hardy took a bath in there, I ain't getting nowhere near that tub.
Well, let me tell you why they do that.
Well, there must be a good reason for
There's
it.
2 reasons. Yeah, there's 2 reasons. First of all, he's a Texan. And this is Arizona. They don't cotton to Texans here in Arizona territory. But the real reason is, now this is on the QT. The folks up there at Lone Star Church on the hill,
Yeah, yeah.
I hear tell that Murray was washed in the blood of somebody's lamb. and the town folks, man, that's creepy for them. So,
Well, that's creepy for me.
well, anyway.
How did he get out of all that blood anyway, huh?
Well, I don't know. I don't even know whose lamb it was.
Okay, all right. Are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Pretty
Okay,
good.
well, sit down there and take a load off.
Okay.
Well, it's like I was saying. You know, me and Repeat, we've been around these parts a long time. Ain't that right, Repeat?
Well, like I was saying.
Never mind. Go ahead and say it anyway.
Like I was saying, me and Repeat's been around these parts a long time, haven't we?
Well, what are you doing? What do you mean?
You said repeat. I repeated it, just like you said.
Well, no. That's you. You're Repeat. That's your name.
Make up your mind.
Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't what I meant anyway. But anyway, down here by the creek, down here at the creek by the old Dinner Bell Cafe that's down there now, this is where we kind of got everything started. Oh, I remember. Whistle me up, whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle the tune that'll carry me to Prescott territory. surround Prescott territory. So whistle me up a memory. Whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Prescott territory.
Well, howdy, everybody. How's everybody doing? You got a full belly? Good. I'm Nugget. And I'm here to tell you how gold was found in them there hills here in this territory. Most of present-day Arizona became part of the United States at the end of 1848. Any of you remember that? Okay, good. The land was unprotected, desolate, and thought by many to be unfit for human habitat. Every occupation, that's everything, even preachers, every occupation was great personal risk, and in the 1860s, Arizona's reputation for murder and mayhem was so bad that General W.T. Sherman jokingly suggested that the United States should have another war with Mexico and have her take it back. Wasn't that good? The route to this area was created by the Whipple Party. Anybody related to them? Oh, shoot. Well, and it made it possible to reach the gold that was later discovered in the streams in Prescott. Finding the wealth proved to be the easy part, but keeping one's scalp and long enough to spend the nuggets was quite another matter. So what they do, they sent military parties over to through Whipple's route to protect the miners and the settlers. So in the spring of 1863, a group of 28 prospectors, and my great-great-great-grandpappy was one of them, he was Big Nugget, tried to reach the mountain streams where they were sure there was gold in great quantities. And also they found that the experience was considerably dangerous, all up the hills, the miserable traveling, the snow and everything. But finally, the Walker Party, as it's known, pushed its way into a piney woods and camped about 6 miles from present-day Prescott along the stream. The site of their rich findings was Lynx Creek, and their perseverance paid off well. I had that all week practicing, I couldn't say it.
You mean they stuck to it?
Huh? They stuck to it.
Yeah, they stuck to it. The caper proved to be the richest stream bed in Arizona, and continuing on to other creeks, they found another one, Granite Creek. Proved to be an excellent find and began to create a settlement to become known as Prescott. So, the next year, on February 24th, 1863, Abraham Lincoln, also known as Honest Abe if you don't know, fixed his signature to a bill creating the territory of Arizona. Although Prescott wasn't the largest town, which was Tucson, President Lincoln wasn't about to have Tucson as its capital because most of its people were Southern rebel sympathizers, so Prescott was chosen as the original territorial capital. And in 1879, Indian raiders were still around, active in the Arizona Territory. So Fort Whipple, a mile outside Prescott's northeast territory border, was manned and by Army cavalry put there to protect Prescottonians and line out ranchers from Indians, attacks, and plundering. And that's what it was. Now I'm going to go get some gold.
They said they'd let anything in here. Well, anyway, Repeat and me, we've been around these here parts a long time. Ain't that right, Repeat? Never mind. Well, way back then, as that miner just told you, old Abe, why he had sent out the army to protect and watch over us folks and protect us from them Injuns that was running around here. Well, y'all heard the story about the Prescott and the world's oldest rodeo. But let me tell you about that. Oh, I remember. Whistle me up the memory, whistle me back was in Prescott territory. So whistle me up of memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Prescott territory.
Well, since Prescott's first Independence Day, celebrated in 1864, people observed the 4th of July in many ways as friends and relatives back in the States. All buildings facing the plaza were abundantly decorated with red, white, and blue streamers, flags, bunting, and evergreen wreaths.
Don't even think about it.
During the day, there were speeches, band concerts, and other activities. That evening, the fireworks display was followed by a calico ball with music by the Fort Whipple Band. At midnight, an elaborate dinner was served, then dancing resumed until the wee hours of the morning. The traditional festivities were not everyone's idea of the proper way to celebrate Independence Day. However, the more rowdy elements held their own races and contests, dashing on horseback through the town establishment, competing to outdrink and outshoot and outlie all others, shooting off firearms and in general just doing and disturbing the peace. The townspeople decided they had to put up a stop to these shenanigans. Therefore, a committee whose members included William Bashford, A.C. Burnister, and Morris Goldwater was formed to raise funds so that a cowboy tournament could be staged outside. On July 4th, 1888, the first official rodeo was held with cash prizes awarded and admission charged. The 1988 rodeo ended in a 4-day competition and celebration. Now, I had nothing to do with this, but female contestants, there were more of them than the male, but the ladies performed exhibitions only and did not compete for cash prizes. So what do we have now? The world's oldest rodeo. Oh, by the way, we don't care much about what those folks in Payson say.
Well, he's right about that. They can say what they want in Payson, but we know what's going on in Prescott. Well, anyway, we was doing just fine around here. The town was growing. Mines were popping up all over the place. Heck, ranchers, they were doing fine, except for those pesky engines. Well, all was going well. Then that fire. Oh, did you hear about that fire? Oh, the fire. Oh, I remember that fire. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Prescott territory. Well, the fire started on Whiskey Road, the whole town was in a hurry, all the buildings were gone, something went all wrong in Prescott territory. So whistle me up, love and mold, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Prescott territory.
The night of July 14th, 1900 was warm and sticky. People sat out on their porches fanning themselves or taking a long leisurely walk after the oppressive heat of the day. Just like every other Saturday night, the saloons and gambling halls were filled with cowboys, miners, businessmen, and saloon, AKA working girls. Their revelry carried out into the evening breeze. Sheriff Brethner had just finished a tour down Montezuma Street and was heard to remark, "To jail all the drunks in Prescott tonight, you'd have to put a roof over the whole..." Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to step you. You're kind of cute, though. I'm free after the show. See me right out. Suddenly, around 10:30, the bell at the courthouse tower started clanging an alarm. The Scope Hotel, down on Goodwin in Montezuma, was engulfed in flames. The fire was believed to have started when Ed Harold struck a miner's pig candle in the wall of one of the bedrooms and left it unattended. And no, he wasn't with me. You're just an idiot. That wasn't very godly. The volunteers from the fire department rushed to man the water hoses. However, due to an extended drought, there was no water pressure. Prescott had had several fires in the downtown district in the past, and the townspeople knew it would be easy to rebuild. You're kind of cute, too. You come and see me about 10:45. However, whatever could be salvaged from the burning businesses was taken over to the safety of the plaza. Grocery stock from the mercantile houses was donated to the exhausted firefighters. A complete barbershop was set up over on the bandstand. Beer kegs, whiskey bottles, faro tables, and roulette wheels were carried from the saloons and immediately put back to work. Someone at a piano, which was saved from the flames, was playing an old Spanish American war tune. It'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. While the inferno turned the night sky in eerie red, and dynamite explosions echoed off the surrounding mountains. Oh, hey, can you excuse me for just a minute? You look kind of familiar.
You can come see me Sunday morning.
Yeah. Firefighters tried to block the course of the flames. Many businessmen who had been wiped out by the fire, wardrobe malfunction, were betting at games of chance in hopes that Lady Luck might return to them a portion of their losses. Now, with some wise insight, the reconstruction included mostly masonry materials.
Try to get my act together now.
I take that bath first.
The bath? It's cost 3 cents.
Well,
I ain't got 3 cents.
I'll loan you a penny.
That'll do it.
Just go to work.
Well, anyway, y'all know that coming up real soon, Labor Day. And you know, Prescott, that's been a labor of love for a lot of us old-time pioneers. Ain't that right, Repeat? Never mind. And you know, we tried to protect and preserve this old town, Prescott. Oh, so you know, we could pass it on to you folks. So you could enjoy a Prescott today that's not all that different than it was way back after that fire. And we rebuilt it in 1900. And it's like the lady of the night said, we finally wised up, Started using masonry products on it then. But I reckon there are some of you out here that would like to know a little bit more about this old Prescott territory. Don't you think that's right, repeat? Never mind.
Wait a minute. I want to know something. Actually, I want to add it to my repertoire of knowledge. You didn't know I knew that word, did you?
I didn't know anybody knew that word.
Well, I overheard the school marm talking to Frenchie on the square yesterday, and they used that word. And I studied and I studied and I studied, and I figured it out.
Really?
I figured it out. I learned another word too.
What was that?
Smiley.
Smiley?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like when one thing's kind of like another.
Oh, you mean simile?
That's what I said, smiley.
Oh, never mind. Oh, my goodness.
Well, anyway, what I wanted to know was this. I kind of got sidetracked there. What I wanted to know was this, is how many of you folks out there have been in this territory for more than 20 years? Raise your hand. Oh, that's a good smattering. Yeah. How many of you been here more than 40 years? That's a few less people. Oh my goodness. How about 50? Anybody? Pete, what comes after 50?
I don't know.
Who's been here longer than 60 years? Anybody born here? I figured we need to give at least one thing of coffee out to somebody that's been around that long.
Why?
Now, probably a towel over here. You guys share this or something. You know, even before I asked that question, I figured old Joanne Looney would be in the running. How would you like to be stuck with that name all your life? You know, and the bad part is, it's her own fault. You know, way back when, she was flirting with poor old Dick. Batting her eyes, sidling up to him, all those kinds of things. It scared him after death. He joined the Navy and went clear across the country. She tracked him down and made him marry her. That's the gospel truth. It's true.
Well,
That's all I got to say about that.
that was really interesting. But just never mind. Huh? Well, Prescott, it does have a great legacy. Like so many towns in the Old West, we've got some wonderful places to find out stuff about Prescott. You know, such as that Charlotte Hall Museum down the road over there. You ever been down there?
Well, I can't spell fast enough to read, so they won't let me go there.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, we got the early history with photos and writings and newspaper articles. Yeah, and old Pete, repeat over here, he ain't never been down there because they won't let him in. He can't write or spell or look either. Oh, there were three choices.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, but wouldn't it be nice, just really nice, if we could see old Prescott as a living and moving thing? Well, folks, we can. In 1929, a film was made in, about, and for Prescott. So let's just sit back, relax, and see what Prescott was like in those early days. If you were here then, like some of you might have been, then you might remember some of these things. So let's take a look at this. I'm glad you all clapped about that. Turn those lights on over there, Vicky. They're telling him everything to do. And he never repeats anything.
I thought you were going to say never mind.
Well, how about one more set of them? Never mind. Hey, he caught on.
Try it.
Well, that was pretty interesting, wasn't it? tell you, if you guys hadn't started clapping, I'd have slept all the way through it. But you woke me up. I got up to come back out here and make some more noise. Well, you know, things around here was going pretty good. Seemed like we needed some spiritual help, though. Oh, did we need spiritual help? Oh, I remember. Whistle me a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Prescott territory. Well, the First Baptist Church arrived in town. Now folks got the message of glory. It was the only Baptist church there was around in the Arizona territory. So whistle me a melody, whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Prescott territory.
In all the territory, there was only 8 Protestant churches with some 500 saloons. Can you imagine? If there was ever a region in need of the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ, this was it. Into the untamed Central Arizona mining town, through the providence of God, a Baptist missionary was directed to venture. It was in 1879, under the auspices of the American Baptist Home Mission Society, that the Reverend R.A. Wendez, his wife, and 2 small children came riding from Alabama on a wagon drawn by their 2 mules. Determined to establish a Baptist church in Prescott, Reverend Wendez sought a nucleus of Baptists for the start of a congregation, but discovered in his words that Baptists were as scarce as hen's teeth. Nevertheless, 4 were found. These in 1880 became the nucleus of a congregation named the Lone Star Baptist Church, the first Baptist church to be established in all the territory of Arizona. A lot was purchased, and a house of worship was built on Academy Hill. This was on Fleury Street, the present location of the Sacred Heart Catholic Church. In 1884, Pastor Wendez left to take up mission activities elsewhere in Arizona. The pastorate being taken by Reverend J.M. Green, also sent by the Home Mission Society, the congregation, now filling the little church, decided to move. The building was pulled on log rollers to its new site on South Cortez, south of the present downtown post office. Over the next several years, the growing church membership purchased properties on the corner of Goodwin and Marina, present location of the church. In 1922, the church began the construction of the stone building that stands on the northwest corner of the intersection. On Easter Sunday, April 17, 1927, the stone building was dedicated. In 1934, the church voted to change its name from the Lone Star Baptist Church to the First Baptist Church of Prescott. In 1950, the church formally affiliated with the Conservative Baptist Association. As the area population expanded, the Prescott Heights Baptist Church was founded. Later founded both Grace Baptist in Chino Valley and Bethel Baptist in Prescott Valley. The congregation continued to grow, and in 1958, work was begun on a new and more spacious auditorium, the one now used for worship services. It was completed and dedicated on July 8th through the 10th, 1960. Subsequently, an educational wing was added, and later a structure facing the courthouse on Cortez Street was purchased and remodeled to become the H. Allen Smythe Educational Building. Christian education has been a concern of the congregation, so in 1981, the church began the Christian Academy of Prescott. By 2001, with its continued growth, the church needed more room for its varied ministries, and so purchased the former building of the St. Luke's Episcopal Church across Union Street and the Union Station on Union Street. In 2015, the church once again decided to change its name. While Solid Rock Christian Fellowship remains part of the Conservative Baptist Association, the church was renamed with the hope of clarifying who we are and reduce the confusion over the name Baptist has come to represent our current culture. We believe that Solid Rock reminds us to live on the rock, who is Christ, and that we are distinctly Christian in our beliefs and behavior. In August 2017, our current pastor, Matt Cotman, and family arrived, not like our first pastor from Alabama by mule wagon, but rather across the pond, England, by the silver wings of a great speckled bird. Over the years, the church's growth has come because it has never lost sight of its call to proclaim the gospel of salvation by grace, through faith in Christ alone, and to build and strengthen each its members' spirituality through preaching and teaching the whole counsel of the Word of God.
Well, me and Repeat, we'd like y'all folks to I'd like to introduce the folks that made this program happen for you. But I'd like for you to hold any love until all have been introduced, if you would. But I'd like to bring the cast of Group B anytime today. We'll give them a minute or so to get arranged up here. I'd like to introduce to you, first place, Janet Waters, that beautiful, luscious videographer, and our piano player that you'll discover in a little bit. She's also my wife. Flo Pope, our food organizer. She got everything going in that kitchen and out here on the tables. And Kay Stockstill, she was our welcomer. And she was also out here filling glasses and so forth. Everybody had a job to do, and everybody did their job well. Phyllis Carpenter, our kitchen coordinator, and also the loudmouth at the beginning of the program. Doug Red, Mr. Yong Kong Hong, our food server all the way from China. Vince Carr, Mr. Sound Controller, he's our guy. He kept us loud enough for you. Kathy Red, Graphics Coordinator, she did a wonderful job. She put up our cue cards. I know you guys didn't know this, but we had cue cards back there. She did a great job with that. Tom Stockstill, our screen coordinator, he's out here because he's still coordinating a screen. Those difficulties that we had were not his, they were mine. John Pruzak, historian and the beginner in Prescott. Bill Thomas, historian and the very first rodeo cowboy. Rachel Thomas, historian, and I don't know what all I can tell you about this lady of fire, because she almost set this place on fire. And what a great job she did. Kathy Pruzak, the Bible thumper has to follow the lady of fire, wouldn't you know it? Carol Carr, she was our ticket coordinator with Joy Hancock, who's right over here. And of course, the terribly talented and master wordsmith, and also a pretty good beef smoker, Gary Pope. I know he deserves it, but we can't go there. And me, I'm Eddie Waters. I'm the dashingly handsome and very dirty miner.
And the creator of this mess.
All right, it took a lot of effort for all of these folks and their dedication to it. And now if you want to show them a little love, go right ahead and do it. Thank you. That was nice. Well, and you know that little tune you've been hearing? Now, don't you think it was a little bit catchy? And maybe you've heard it enough times that you could sing it with me and old repeat here and the whole group be cast. Want to give it a try? Let's give it a try. Here we go. Whistle me a memory. Whistle me back where I want to be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Prescott territory. Tell me a tale of a Prescott boy. Tell me a miner's story. How gold is found in the creeks around Prescott territory. Rodeo started on Whiskey Road. Cowboys found their glory. They would ride through the bars, shooting up at stars in Prescott territory. Fire started up on Whiskey Road. The whole town was in a flurry. All the buildings were gone, something went all wrong in Prescott territory. Well, the First Baptist Church arrived in town. The folks got the message of glory. It was the only Baptist church there was around in the Arizona territory. And now we can all whistle it. I guess we still can't whistle. Well,
Did you write that song?
indeed. Thank you. Okay, I missed a slide, so we'll just go on past that one. But y'all sounded real good now, you hear? Yeah. Now let's enjoy this town. What do you say, repeat?
Well, y'all enjoy this town now, you
No,
hear?
never mind. You can't think for yourself. Well, thanks for coming. And watch out for those pesky engines on your way home. Bye-bye, y'all. Love you.